You're listening to Underground USA News.
Wednesday, July 30th, 2025, FBI Director Kash Patel has discovered thousands of sensitive documents related to the Trump-Russia investigation, known as Crossfire Hurricane, hidden in burn bags within a secret room at FBI headquarters, raising serious questions about the handling of classified materials by prior leadership. The documents, including a classified annex to Special Counsel John Durham's report, were reportedly intended for destruction, prompting Patel to launch criminal investigations into former CIA Director John Brennan and former FBI Director James Comey. The findings, now turned over to Senator Chuck Grassley, suggest a coordinated effort to obscure critical intelligence, fueling concerns about transparency and accountability within federal agencies. The U.S. economy rebounded strongly in the second quarter of 2025, posting a robust 3% annualized GDP growth rate, surpassing expectations and signaling resilience despite trade policy headwinds. This surge, driven by a sharp reversal in the trade balance and renewed consumer spending, underscores the strength of domestic demand and business investment, even as President Trump's tariffs continue to stir debate. Critics who predicted economic gloom from tariffs have been proven wrong for now, as the data reflects a vibrant economy adapting to new trade dynamics, with exports holding steady and imports dropping significantly, while challenges like inflation and potential future tariff impacts loom. This growth offers a clear win for pro-growth policies and a boost for the Trump administration's economic agenda. As President Trump's tariff policies continue to reshape global trade, China has pledged support for its companies battered by U.S. tariffs, while trade talks with the U.S. remain unresolved, awaiting Trump's final approval for a potential 90-day tariff pause extension. Concurrently, U.S.-Canada trade negotiations have resumed, with Trump's demands expanding to include oil, border security, and even DEI policies, signaling a broader agenda to leverage trade for national interests. These developments underscore the administration's aggressive push to address trade imbalances, though uncertainty persists as global markets brace for potential economic ripple effects. Zohran Mamdani, the Democrat nominee for New York City mayor, faces renewed scrutiny for his December 2024 pledge to disband the NYPD's Strategic Response Group, a specialized unit critical to handling mass shootings, riots, and gang activity, following a deadly Midtown Manhattan shooting that claimed 4 lives, including an NYPD officer. Mamdani, a self-described democratic socialist, previously advocated defunding the police, but has softened his stance during his campaign, emphasizing a new Department of Public Safety to shift certain responsibilities from law enforcement. Critics argue his plan to dismantle the SRG, which dismantled 47 violent crews in 2024, could undermine public safety, especially as New Yorkers grapple with rising crime fears. Mamdani's campaign has not yet responded to requests for comment on the issue. New York City's real estate industry is mobilizing to oppose Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic socialist who won the Democrat mayoral primary, citing concerns over his proposed policies like rent freezes and higher taxes on the wealthy. Industry leaders, alarmed by the potential economic fallout, are forming anti-Mamdani PACs to support Mayor Eric Adams in the general election, fearing Mamdani's agenda could destabilize the city's rental market and drive away high-net-worth residents. While Mamdani's promises of affordable housing and tenant protections resonate with some, critics argue his plans lack practicality and could exacerbate financial pressures on landlords already grappling with rising costs. In a striking breach of public trust, John Luke Evans, a Jamaican national who overstayed his visa, was arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement on July 25, 2025, in Biddeford, Maine, after attempting to illegally purchase a firearm while employed as a reserve police officer with the Old Orchard Beach Police Department. Despite passing a background check and being cleared by the Department of Homeland Security's E-Verify system, Evans' illegal status went undetected, raising serious concerns about vetting processes for law enforcement positions. ICE's acting field office director Patricia Hyde called the incident tragic, emphasizing the agency's commitment to removing criminal threats from communities. This case underscores the need for stricter oversight to ensure those entrusted with upholding the law are themselves in compliance with it. Texas Republicans have released a proposed congressional map designed to secure 5 additional GOP seats in the 2026 midterm elections, aiming to solidify their House majority. The plan, backed by President Donald Trump, targets Democratic strongholds in Austin, Dallas, Houston, and South Texas by redrawing district lines to favor Republican candidates, with 30 of 38 districts projected to lean GOP by at least 10 points. Critics argue the move dilutes minority voting power, while supporters see it as a strategic response to Texas' shifting demographics and a safeguard against potential Democratic gains. The map, part of a special legislative session called by Governor Greg Abbott, faces likely legal challenges from Democrats, who warn of a redistricting arms race nationwide. Texas Democrats are preparing to leave the state to break quorum and halt a Republican-led redistricting plan aimed at securing additional GOP congressional seats ahead of the 2026 midterms. Despite facing $500 daily fines and threats of arrest from Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, the strategy, which echoes a similar 2021 walkout, seeks to prevent what Democrats call an unfair gerrymander, though they face challenges due to Texas House rules prohibiting the use of campaign funds to pay fines. While Democrats, backed by significant donor support, argue this is a stand against political overreach, Republicans assert that such actions neglect legislative duties and the needs of constituents, especially amid ongoing flood relief discussions. In a dramatic display on the Senate floor, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker unleashed a scathing critique of his fellow Democrats, accusing them of being complicit with the Trump administration's agenda by supporting bipartisan police funding legislation. Booker's heated objection to bills backed by Senators Amy Klobuchar and Catherine Cortez Masto, which had unanimously passed the Senate Judiciary Committee, led to a rare public intra-party showdown, with Booker demanding a more aggressive stance against the president and proposing an amendment to protect state and local funding. Klobuchar and Cortez Masto pushed back, highlighting Booker's absence during the committee's review, underscoring deep divisions within the Democrat Party as they grapple with strategic responses to the current administration. Cincinnati City Councilor Victoria Parks has ignited widespread controversy with her alleged social media comments, claiming that a white couple begged for a brutal assault by a group of black individuals following a jazz festival in downtown Cincinnati. The violent incident, captured on video and widely circulated online, prompted strong reactions from figures like Vice President J.D. Vance and Elon Musk, who condemned the attack and questioned the response of local authorities, including Police Chief Teresa Theach, who suggested the footage lacked context. Critics, including local business owners and conservative commentators, have labeled the attack a potential hate crime and called for accountability, while Parks' remarks have fueled demands for her resignation. Highlighting tensions over crime and race in the city, 4 veteran Cincinnati police officers, Captain Robert Wilson and Lieutenants Patrick Catton, Gerald Hodges, and Andrew Mitchell, have filed a federal lawsuit against Police Chief Teresa Theach and the city, alleging systemic discrimination against white male officers in promotions and assignments. The lawsuit claims Theach favored women and minority officers for career-enhancing roles, citing a race-based quota system and bypassing qualified white males, despite a 2021 federal ruling banning such practices. The officers seek compensatory damages for lost wages, emotional distress, and a court order to end these alleged discriminatory practices, highlighting a pattern of unfair treatment within the Cincinnati Police Department. President Trump signed the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act into law on July 30, 2025, delivering a significant victory for veterans facing financial hardship. The bipartisan legislation establishes a partial claims program under the Department of Veterans Affairs, allowing veterans who are behind on mortgage payments to defer those payments to the end of their loan terms, helping them avoid foreclosure and maintain homeownership. This measure replaces the controversial Veterans Affairs Servicing Purchase Program, which was criticized for its cost and lack of congressional oversight. The new law reflects a commitment to supporting veterans while ensuring fiscal responsibility, reinforcing the VA home loan program's role as a vital benefit for those who have served. In a disheartening act of vandalism, the Mary Washington Monument in Virginia, dedicated to the mother of George Washington, was defaced with graffiti reading Antifa and an Antifa symbol on Saturday night. This historic site, the first monument erected by women to honor a woman, holds deep cultural significance, making the desecration particularly troubling. The Washington Heritage Museums, which has invested significant effort in revitalizing the property, condemned the act, and the Fredericksburg Police Department is investigating. Such actions underscore a disturbing trend of targeting historical figures and their families, raising concerns about the erosion of respect for America's heritage. A massive 8.8 magnitude earthquake struck off Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula on July 30, 2025, triggering tsunami warnings across the Pacific, including Hawaii and the U.S. West Coast. The quake, one of the strongest ever recorded, prompted evacuations in Hawaii, Japan, and Russia's Kuril Islands, with waves reaching up to 19 feet in Severokurilsk, Russia. Hawaii saw waves as high as 5.7 feet, but reported no major damage, leading to a downgrade from a tsunami warning to an advisory by Wednesday morning. Northern California's Crescent City recorded 3.6-foot waves, and while advisories remain for parts of the West Coast, U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem declared the major tsunami threat over, expressing gratitude for the limited impact. Japan also downgraded its warnings after evacuating nearly 2 million people, with no significant casualties reported. The U.S. Department of the Interior, under President Trump's energy dominance agenda, has announced the termination of preferential treatment for wind energy projects, aiming to level the playing field for more reliable, cost-effective energy sources like clean coal and natural gas. This policy shift, detailed in Secretary's Order No. 3437, involves heightened scrutiny of wind and solar projects, a review to eliminate bias policies, and a halt to support for foreign-controlled energy supply chains. The move aligns with Executive Order 14315 and the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, emphasizing national security, grid stability, and economic growth by reducing reliance on subsidy-dependent, intermittent energy sources. Critics, including the American Council on Renewable Energy, argue this could disrupt the energy sector, but supporters see it as a pragmatic step toward affordable and dependable power for Americans. A group of parents from Ludlow, Massachusetts, has petitioned the U.S. Supreme Court to challenge a public school policy that allows officials to facilitate a child's gender transition without parental knowledge or consent, arguing it violates their fundamental rights to direct their children's upbringing, health care, and education. The case, Foote v. Ludlow School Committee, stems from a 2023 incident where school officials allegedly encouraged a middle school girl's genderqueer transition, including using a male name and non-binary pronouns, while disregarding her parents' explicit instructions and concealing these actions. Supported by the Child and Parental Rights Campaign and Alliance Defending Freedom, the parents assert that such policies, adopted by over 1,000 school districts nationwide, undermine family autonomy and religious freedoms, prompting a broader legal battle to protect parental authority. Ghislaine Maxwell, convicted for her role in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking crimes, has issued a list of demands to the House Oversight Committee, including formal immunity and a delay of her August 11 deposition until her Supreme Court appeal is resolved, as conditions for testifying about Epstein's illicit activities. Her attorneys argue that testifying without immunity in a politically charged environment risks further legal exposure, and that a prison setting is unsuitable due to potential leaks and security concerns. The committee, led by Chairman James Comey, swiftly rejected the immunity request, emphasizing a commitment to transparency without granting concessions to Maxwell, who is serving a 20-year sentence. This development underscores ongoing tension surrounding the Epstein case, as lawmakers seek to uncover more detail while Maxwell's legal team maneuvers to protect her interests. The New York Times recently faced criticism for publishing a front-page photo of Mohammed Zakaria Ayoub al-Maddouk, a young Palestinian boy with cerebral palsy, as part of a story on Gaza's food shortage, without initially disclosing his pre-existing health condition. The image, which implied starvation as the primary cause of his condition, sparked accusations of journalistic malpractice and bias against Israel. Following online backlash, the Times appended an editor's note to clarify the boy's medical history, raising questions about the outlet's reporting standards and its portrayal of the Gaza crisis. This incident underscores the need for greater transparency and accuracy in media coverage of complex international issues. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's announcement to recognize Palestine as a state in September, unless Israel meets specific conditions like ending the Gaza crisis and agreeing to a ceasefire, has sparked sharp criticism from conservative voices and international allies. Critics, including Israel's government and U.S. figures like U.S. State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce, argue the move risks rewarding Hamas's terrorism, particularly after its October 7, 2023, attack, and undermines ceasefire efforts. While Starmer insists the decision supports a two-state solution, opponents, including conservative leader Kemi Badenoch, call it political posturing to appease Labour's left wing, potentially destabilizing delicate Middle East negotiations. The plan, discussed in an emergency cabinet meeting, has also drawn ire from pro-Palestinian groups for using statehood as a bargaining chip, highlighting Starmer's challenging balancing act. A new report from the Policy Exchange think tank reveals an alarming 86% increase in knife crime in London over the past decade, with nearly 17,000 offenses recorded in 2024 alone. The surge is particularly concentrated in the West End, where tourist hotspots like Oxford Circus and Regent Street are plagued by robberies, which account for 61.6% of knife-related crimes, often targeting cell phones. The findings underscore the urgent need for robust law enforcement measures to address this growing epidemic and restore safety to the capital's streets. The United States is intensifying efforts to secure access to the Democratic Republic of Congo's vast reserves of cobalt, copper, and lithium, minerals vital for electric vehicles, smartphones, and clean energy technologies. As China continues to dominate the region's mining industry through long-standing deals like the 2007 Sycamines Agreement, Washington's proposed Minerals for Infrastructure Partnership aims to bolster DRC's security and development while challenging Beijing's near monopoly, which controls 70% of global rare earth mining and 85% of processing capacity. This strategic move reflects growing concerns over reliance on Chinese-controlled supply chains, with American mining companies and former Special Forces members eyeing acquisitions like ChemF Resources to strengthen U.S. national security and economic interest in the global clean energy race. In a decisive step to prioritize America's economic sovereignty and address long-standing imbalances, President Trump announced that the United States will levy a 25% tariff on Indian imports starting August 1, pointing to India's sky-high tariffs, among the world's highest, and burdensome non-tariff barriers that have stifled fair trade and contributed to a $45.7 billion U.S. deficit with the nation. Trump further lambasted India for being Russia's top buyer of energy and military equipment, at a time when the free world seeks to halt Moscow's aggression in Ukraine, underscoring how such dependencies undermine global security efforts. While negotiations for a mutually beneficial trade deal continue, with ambitions to boost bilateral trade to $500 billion by 2030, this measure could challenge Indian exporters in key sectors like textiles, pharmaceuticals, and gems, potentially eroding their edge against lower tariff competitors and prompting a dip in the rupee and market futures. Indian authorities are evaluating the fallout while vowing to protect their farmers and businesses, though experts caution that the move risks eroding decades of bipartisan progress in U.S.-India relations.
You're listening to Underground USA News.